luckily enough, I was invited for the first interview. So yeah, you just need to shoot your shot there. It's actually open to everyone, but the competition might be different for you. Like it might be much harder for you compared to someone who went to like maybe Stanford or Harvard, because their school and their course itself already makes them stand out. So for you, you might need like some experience on your resume, even though the internship does not require work experience. But for you to stand out coming from a place like Nigeria and like a school from Nigeria, you need to like have some side project or experience on your resume just to stand out and meet up the competition.
Okay, yeah. So you've said a lot of interesting things right now. So how so there's a question in most people's mind, which is how do I start? Where do I see these opportunities to apply? Like how do I even start the process of applying? You know.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Like most of these applications, they come out at certain part of the year, certain time of the year rather. So like for internships, they always the applications are always open around the ending of the year, like the fall of each year. That's like around September, October, November. So you should be on the lookout then, because they'll be recruiting interns for the next year. Do you get? So that's when they start the interview process and receiving applications. So if you want to see all of these applications, just like you see it randomly on LinkedIn, to be honest. If you are following any recruiter, those companies that you're interested in, they'll most likely post it on LinkedIn. And if you don't see it on LinkedIn, just make sure you go to their careers page. So like all of these companies, they have like a careers page, and you can just get their careers page by a simple Google search, like social company careers. Like if it's Facebook you want, you go to Facebook careers, Google careers, Meta careers, Amazon, Microsoft, just Microsoft careers. Then you see like the careers page pop up. Then you can filter down to what you want. Like if it's software engineering, if it's product management, you just filter down. They always have a filter because there are so many roles that are open at the same time. And you filter down based on the location you also want. So yeah, just be on the lookout and just actively check when it's time for it.
All right. Are you on your PC? Maybe you could show us like a kind of a preview or a demo of how.
I'm on my phone actually.
Oh, okay.
I'm on my phone. But let me see. I don't know if I can share my screen. I
Okay.
think I can share my screen on my phone also.
All right.
But let me first clear everything.
Okay. Yeah, we can see your screen.
So can you see my screen now?
Yeah, yeah, we can see your screen now.
Okay, so like let's say I want to check out the available roles at maybe Meta. I just go to Meta careers, then it pops up. Then then I can try and filter down. Let's say I'm only interested in roles that are in London. So just hold on. So right now this is like all the jobs available. Then I can try to filter down based on the location. So I can filter down by location. I can see I just want um this there's only remote ones available, but I can just click on that. Remote in the UK or maybe remote in the US. Then I apply the filters. Then I can also like check for categories like um, maybe software engineering. Well, I can't see any software engineering here. Well, let me just say engineering. Engineering should fit for that. Employment type. So we have full time and internships. So I can have full internships here, and the job type. I think that's fine. Then I can apply the filter. So there's no available internship at the moment, basically. So I can just remove the filter for the location so I can see. all of it and see if there are any available internships. Okay. So we have like research engineer intern. We have, let me go back. So we have software engineer intern, and this is in London, UK, and it's for PhD students. So it's not available for non-PhD students. And Meta University, this one is for people who have no experience in tech. So like basically like most of these top companies, you always have different levels of internship. So software engineer internship is like the highest level of internship. Do you get? So they also have like programs for people that are about to get into tech. So for Google, it's called STEP internship. So I think I don't know the full meaning of STEP, but basically like they don't expect you to have any experience, and you are expected to be in your first year of school.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
if you're in your first year of school, it's advisable to apply for all these kind of internships. So for Meta, it's called Meta University, and for Google, it's called STEP internship, and for Microsoft, it's called Explore. So that I think this Meta University, I the application opened like 2 days ago because I saw a recruiter post about it. So yeah, if you're in your first year, I advise you to apply to this, and you can see front end engineer and everything. So software engineer intern co-op. I think so. This was one I applied to, and yeah, so that's how you just filter down, and you just go by on Google and search the company space careers, and it pops up. They always have filter, and you just filter down to your preference.
All right.
Yep.
Okay. So okay, just give me 1 minute. All right. So we should go on to the career page, and we should
Yeah.
so what documents are required for the application? Do we need to write some sort of essay or like our results?
No, the major thing you need is your resume. To be honest, like your resume is. I mean, they always have options to add cover letter or stuff like that, but the major thing is your resume. The cover letter is optional, and I didn't use the cover letter also. And I think for some companies, I think Google asks for your transcript just to verify that you're still in school. So you can use the unofficial transcript. For Unilag, you can just go on the portal and download your unofficial transcripts like instantly. I don't know about other schools, but like that's how you can get your unofficial transcript that you can just use for your application. So majorly your resume and your transcript to verify you're in school and nothing more.
Okay, so in terms of resume, because I've been hearing what they call ATS, does that still because I heard for all these big companies, so many applications are being received, then they have a process or some sort of bot or a filtering system that discards so many resumes. So does that still apply? Like in your case, do you think that that was a thing?
I don't even know what you're talking about, to be honest.
Oh yeah,
Like, what's that? ATS, or
yes,
what do
yes,
you say?
application tracking software. So that's what I've been hearing other people who applied to, I think, other companies. They said,
Oh,
you know,
like computers are just
yeah,
filter down
yeah.
applications.
I heard by keywords or something like that.
I
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I believe it should exist because they have thousands and thousands of applications coming in, and I don't think a recruiter will sit down and go through everything one by one. So they should have like softwares that will help them do that.
Okay. So can you?
So, but like that's a very tricky part. Like when it comes to resume screening, is
Yeah,
can you hear me clearly?
yeah, I can hear you clearly. Yeah, go on.
Sorry, like please let me know if I'm not speaking clearly so I
Uh,
can
yeah,
adjust my mic.
no, it's fine. It's fine. We can hear you.
Okay, so like the resume screening part is very very tricky. Like it's one of the application stage that is very tricky. Like no one knows what criteria they use to filter down these resumes, and even good applications get lost because of the volume of applications they get. So my advice for that part is just to make your resume good enough. Like I can't tell, to be honest. Just make it good enough.
Uh,
Like use all of those bullet.
so is it possible that because have you been rejected previously when you applied with maybe a previous resume or
Yeah, for sure. Like I've gotten rejections at resume screening stages. Yeah, I
so?
have.
So basically, you might have identified some sort of like kind of way that writing a resume would be good for applying for this. I don't know if you could share with us your resume templates that maybe we could just look over and make ours better.
Okay, okay, that's fine. But yeah, like for the most recent one I had where they rejected me at resume screening was because okay, so the application had some questions like why do you want to work at so company? And I just ignored it because it was not required. So I just submitted my resume like that and I didn't answer those questions. So I got like a rejection mail like 2 days after. Then I decided to apply again with the same resume, but I answered those questions thoroughly. So that was what I did. And I got invited for the interview. Do you get? So like those minor things in the application might also be a reason why you get rejections. Do you get? So always take everything seriously. Do you get? It might not necessarily be your resume, but if the fact that you did not like put effort into the application might just get you rejected. So that's that about that. For the resume thing,
All right.
let me see if I can find my resume.
All right.
I'll share.
So once we go to the career page, we submit an application. How long do they take before they get back to us? Is it
Yeah,
is it long
it
or like
takes a long. It takes a long time. It takes a long time. Like for Meta, when I got a feedback about the application, I already forgot that I even applied to Meta.
oh
So yeah, it takes a long time. But before the end of the year, they will start interviews. So you should be expecting it before the end of the year because they need to get their plans for the year down.
okay. All right.
So this is what my resume looks like. Um, so you need your education and you need to indicate your graduation year and your skills and technologies. I think they matter also. Like just impute the valid skills that probably the job is requesting. Like just have programming language and stuff there.
Okay,
And
this is currently on your LinkedIn, right? So let me just drop your
yeah,
link.
yeah, it's on my LinkedIn. It's on my LinkedIn.
All right.
So like I think the tip for like resume like is just your bullet points. Like just identify the key things you have done. Like if you improve something by 10%, include it that I did so thing 10%, and you can make that particular metric in bold, like I did for this one. I mentioned something about 100K, so like I made it bold. And if you use a certain technology while working at that job, just make them bold so they can know that this is where you did it. So me, I use React and I just made it in bold. I built some features, I made them bold. So you're just like pointing them to the key things you have done. Do you get? So in between all of these stories I have written on your resume, make sure you make the key parts bold. That's what I did, and I think it has been working for me so far. So like your technologies, your metrics, and stuff like that. So for coming in as someone without experience, this might be hard because you don't have work experience at all. Do you get? So include your side projects, like your achievements. Like if you built a side project that solve a problem, highlight that problem by making it bold so they can know that it's a problem you had, and maybe talk about the solution that the particular side project you built was used for, and just highlight everything basically. So just side projects should stand for the experience if you don't have any work experience at all for
Oh,
me because and also make it one page like try and make everything fit into one page because nobody's going to look through 2 pages of resume. You get? For me, I also have side projects, but like I kind of put it on priority because there's no longer space and I didn't want to stress about the structure anymore, so I removed the side project and I left just the experience.
okay, okay, okay. That makes sense. Okay, so okay, so once we are done, and how does the so what's the process from the point of your the recruiter has reached out to you? So okay, you can use, let's say, Google for example. What happens from that period? How many interviews are there, and what should we prepare for?
Okay, so For interns and for most companies, they only ask you algorithm questions and behavioral questions. Although some companies will ask you system design question, like they can ask you things like design Instagram. You're not coding, you're just like talking about how you're going to go about the design, but that doesn't matter. Like most of these top companies will not ask you that, except like Bloomberg, Palantir, they ask system design questions. So like for Google in particular, like are when you have passed the resume screening stage, they invite you for interview. So like they have all of their interviews in one day for interns. So like there's no phone interviews, just like on site directly. Do you get? So like on the on site day, you have like two interviews back to back, and it lasts for I think an hour each. And they ask you data structures and algorithm questions. So like at the beginning, they can ask you like questions about yourself, tell me about yourself, like your background and everything. Then they can ask you like theoretical questions like how does like linked list work behind the scene, how does hashmap work behind the scene and stuff like that. Then they move on to the real technical problem. So you guys will be on like a Google Doc. So they use Google Doc as their coding environment. Although the Google Doc has some extensions that make it look like a code editor. Do you get? So the interviewer asks you the question, and your job is to answer that question, talk about the time complexity and all of those stuff. So after the first one, you wait for like 15 minutes. The next interviewer jumps in, and you do the same process all over again. And after that, they take about some weeks to give you feedback. So if you pass the technical round, then they go ahead to move you into team matching. Do you get? So they try to find you a team. So I think it's only Google that does it this way. Like for Facebook, they once you pass the technical round, they don't find a team for you directly. They give you the offer first. Do you get? So when you're closer to your dates, they match you randomly to a team. Do you get? Based on your experience. But for Google, they need to match you to a team before they give the offer. And some people, unfortunately, they don't find a team because they speak to like people, and maybe the manager doesn't like them. They feel like they're not a good fit for the project, or even they themselves they don't like the project. So it has to be a mutual agreement. You yourself have to like the team, and the team manager has to like you also. Like they need to see that you're a good fit for the team. Then once that process is done, they give you the offer. So for Google, it's two stages: technical round, team matching, then offer. Then for Meta, they have in two interviews, two technical interviews. So the first one is going to be for 1 hour, or I think it's 45 minutes, and it's going to be strictly algorithm, no behavioral question, just other than just introduce yourself and ask questions at the end, stuff like that. Then if you pass that round, they reach out to you again for the final round, which is another on-site that takes like an hour. And they ask you behavioral questions. Behavioral questions are basically questions like um what are you going to do in so situation? Tell me about your strengths and your weaknesses and stuff like that. And they go into the technical problem, and they give you the offer if you pass the interview. So yeah, that's the overview of the process. That's what it's like for most companies for internships.
All right. So you said what they'll be asking will be algorithm questions. So how do we learn this algorithm? Like, how do we prepare for this algorithm? How did you prepare when you were having these interviews?
Okay, so like for me, like I started preparing before I even planned to like get an offer. Like I was looking for something challenging, so I came across data structures and algorithm. So I first took a course on Udemy. So the course was basically to teach me the fundamentals of all of these algorithm and data structures, like most of the common ones. So they taught me the fundamentals. I understood them. Then after that,
Do you still
I
remember the name of
now realized that that was what they were using to get into big.
Do you still remember the name of the
Yeah,
course?
yeah, yeah. Mastering the coding algorithm by Andre.
Okay, okay. Thank- All right.
Yeah, I can remember. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go on, go on.
Can you hear me properly?
Yeah, I can hear you properly. You can go on.
Okay, yeah. So the name of the course is Mastering the Coding Interview or something like that. I can't remember, but it's by Andre.
All
So
right.
Andre Negoy or something like that.
Yeah, you
So
go
just search
on.
it on Udemy, it should pop up.
All right.
Yeah. So that was what I used to understand the fundamentals. Then when I realized that that was what was being used to get into big tech companies, I started like solving problems. 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 I started like solving on data structures and algorithm, and I think I used Akarank first, but Akarank wasn't really fitting my style, and it wasn't really fitting the style of actual interviews. Akarank has so many stories, like they will talk about stories that are not going to be asked in interviews. So lead school was much more like interview style problems. So there are several problems there and several topics, and I started solving them, starting from the easy questions to the medium questions to the hard problems and so on and so forth. So yeah, so like an overview of my process, like I first of all spent time on understanding the fundamentals. Then after understanding the fundamentals, I went ahead to practice and practice and practice.
Okay.
Do mock interviews. That's very important. So I had mock interviews with my friends and random people basically I met on LinkedIn. So they act as my interviewer, and they asked me the questions. I answered them like I would in an interview, and it's really really helpful because you have put yourself in that interview setting, and you are kind of used to the interview style. And when you get into an actual interview, it's not a problem.
All right. So
Yeah, so that's basically it.
all right. Okay. So you practice lead code, and so what do you think? Because we are interns, and if we go on lead code, there are different categories. There's medium, easy, and hard. So, what difficulty level did you think that they asked you? Should we go all the way to hard questions, or easy is enough?
Medium. Some mediums are hard, basically. So like focus more on medium problems. And some ads are medium. So like medium can get very hard. So just focus more on medium problems. But you can't just jump to medium problems because they can be very difficult. So start from easy problems. Once you understand the pattern and you understand the problem, the topic, then you can go ahead to medium problems. Then occasionally you can solve hard problems if you have the energy. But yeah, focus more on medium problems. Like most of the interview problems will be going from medium to hard problems. But yeah, it's not to scare you or anything. But like once you practice enough medium problems, you should be able to solve it in like an hour, 30 minutes, 30 minutes to an hour. So
Okay, all right. So we should focus on mainly medium product. All right. So like once we are, will you say like how much should we prepare? Like should we solve like 100 questions or 50 questions? And
yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
should we buy? Because as I'm seeing, lead code has premium. Is that really necessary, or the free is just enough?
Ah, I didn't buy premium until recently, like until like this year, and I've gotten my offers for years now. Like premium, I just ask someone that has it, can you share your details? I get the question. So if I'm preparing for Google, what I use the premium for is just to see questions that are being asked by certain companies. Do you get? The questions are also available on the free lead code. Do you get? But you don't know which one is which. Do you get? So I asked my friend for his details. I logged in, see the questions that are being asked by Google. Then I list them down somewhere and I start solving it on my own account. It's not like as if I make use of premium account. Do you get? So that's that about the premium thing you asked. And for the number of questions you should solve, it doesn't really matter, to be honest. Once you take your time to solve problems and understand it thoroughly, the number will not be a problem, because once you take time to solve one question, there are like 7 or 10 other questions that are similar to that on lead code. Do you get? And you should be able to solve it if you actually took time to solve that one problem. Do you get? So the major thing is do mock interviews, because that's how you get asked questions that you have not solved before and you need to tackle them right in that interview. Do you get? So focus more on the mock interviews and solve as many questions as you can also, because it helps when you have solved so many questions and you see the same pattern in an interview. Do you get? But the number doesn't matter, to be honest. Just understand them thoroughly, see the patterns and see the approaches to certain problems. So yeah, that's my advice for that.
All right. So okay. So moving forward, after okay, let's say we did very well in our interviews and we scaled through. Okay, I believe they also take like long period of time to actually reach out, with the offer, and so from that point, because first of all, most of these internships we have been seeing they're not based in, it's not Nigeria location. I've been seeing UK, I've been seeing different locations. So, most people might be like, oh, this is in a different country. I'm not really sure. Will I okay once I get the internship? Am I going to transport myself to whatever country and do the internship? So, from the point of getting the offer, what exactly happens?
So yeah, everything is being sponsored by the company, starting from your visa, your food, everything. So like you're just providing them with the documents necessary, and everything will be taken care of by the company. So your visa will be sponsored by them, your plane tickets will be sponsored by them, your accommodation when you get there will be sponsored by them. When you get there, all the food you eat is free at the office. It depends on the company that I'm speaking from Google and Facebook perspective. So like everything is sponsored by them, and you're just like making yourself available and going to work. Do you get? So like everything is being sponsored by them. You have nothing to worry about. Like the offer is, it contains everything. To be honest.
Okay, okay. So, is this a paid internship? Like, do they pay you for, like, throughout the internship, or is it like, how does that work? How does the payment work, or do they even pay at all?
Yeah, they pay you really, really good. Like it's better than whatever you can think of. You can just check it on levels FYI. Like they pay you standard money. Like they pay around 4,000 to 5,000 per month that you are working. So if your internship is 4 months, you're getting like 5,000. Is it dollars or pounds? For pounds, yeah. So like almost 5,000 pounds every month, and that's what you get for your 3 month or 4 month or 6 month internship every month. So yeah, everything is being sponsored by them. Also, you don't your accommodation, everything is being sponsored by them.
Oh wow. So, what's the standard duration for the internship? Because I'm seeing some 3 months, some more than 3 months. Like, is there a
So
standard?
for Facebook, the standard one is 12 weeks. But if your school requires you to do a 6 month internship, you can speak to them and tell them that okay, you want a 6 month internship. Do you get? And I think they'll be able to do that for you. So for me, like last year, my school required me to do like 6 months internship. So I was planning to like extend Facebook for 6 months, but I had Google's offer also. So I kind of did it at both of them. So I did Facebook for 3 months, then I did Google for 4 months. Do you get? So it was like a back-to-back thing. So you can request for that's only if your school requires you to have like an internship. But Google's own the minimum is 13 weeks and the maximum is 17 weeks if you don't have mandatory thing from your school. But if you have mandatory thing from your school, the maximum is 6 months.
Oh wow, that's interesting. I didn't know this information till today. Oh wow, okay, that's cool. Um, okay. I don't know if okay. So I think someone. Okay, yeah. So, I've asked him so far the questions I could come up with. I don't know if any of you have any question to ask him concerning the process, or has it been clear so far? You guys should turn on your mics and speak.
So yeah, just to note about the location, I was going through the charts now.
Oh yeah.
So some internships are remote also. Like I think Google allows you to do it remotely if you ask for it. Do you get? But the thing is that if you decide to do it remotely from Nigeria, your pay is going to get cut based on Nigeria's paying standard. Do you get? So you can get cut from like 5,000 to like maybe 500k to 700k in naira, and that's not up to 1,000. Do you get? So like you should consider that if you want a remote internship, they won't give you the same standard as someone that moved there.
Okay. 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 That makes sense. So, do any of you have any question? Okay. Yeah. Godwin, go on.
Also, like still on the locations thing, like please you can just try to apply mostly to countries in Europe and not the US. Like there are some like complications with getting the US visa, even though it's sponsored by the company. Like The US visa is kind of like a lottery kind of thing. Like the company might still back you up, but still not be able to get you the visa. So you might be lucky to get it, but like you might also be unlucky. The chances are still there that you might not get it. So you should try and apply mostly to European offices.
Okay,
So
so
you don't just waste your time getting an offer and not being able to travel.
okay, by European offices, you mean like Dublin, UK, right?
Yeah, Switzerland. Switzerland is actually too complicated. Also, like I think everything outside of Switzerland is easy to get, but Switzerland itself has some complications.
Okay. All right, Godwin, you can go on.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, Wisdom. Good afternoon, Adesanya.
Yeah, good.
Good
All right,
afternoon.
my question is you've mentioned that this internship is for students. I want to ask, what of those who have left school, like who have left the university? Is it still available for them, or you have to be in school? So that's my first question. I'm going to ask the second after you answer.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. So yeah, like if you are no longer in school, you will not be able to get an internship because it's strictly for students. But there are two types of campus recruitment. There's one for internship people that are still in school, and there's one they call new grad. It's strictly for people that just left school and have no experience. You get so it's new grad. So like most times the level of difficulty of the interviews are the same, but maybe more rounds. Do you get? So like it's still for you, you should just be looking out for new grad roles. So if it's software engineering, you see software engineering new grad. That means like a new graduate you get. And you go through the process like I already mentioned and you get the offer. But your own is just going to be full time. It's not like a limited contract. It's like for the whole time.
Okay. So you said, is it you added that the person should not have software experience, or can the person have?
I mean, if you don't need software engineering experience, but like you need to be able to program because how you pass the interview, you don't know how to program. But it tells,
Okay.
like I mentioned at the beginning, like it tells you when you have experience because you pass the screening stage and they will invite you for the interview. So if you have the time, just get side projects on your resume so you can at least get a chance for interview.
All right, thank you. My second question is you mentioned that the interview would be on site. I didn't really get that clearly. Do you have to travel or to be over a call or something?
So yeah, before COVID, when you get to the on-site interview, you are going to be they'll fly you over for like 3 days and you have your interview right in the office. That's how they do it because the interview used to be done on a whiteboard. You don't use a computer. But when COVID happened, they still left the name as on-site, but it's going to be virtual on-site. Like because they realize they can now do the interviews without bringing you over, so they stick with that since when COVID happened. So now on-site doesn't require you to go to the office or be flown over to their country. You just do it from your system, your computer.
All right, thank you very much. I think I'm done. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
All right, do you have any other question?
I have a question here.
Yeah.
Um, Hello, Tomiwa. Okay, so my question is, you mentioned having a few things on your resume. So let's say I don't have a working experience, but I have projects I've built, right? You said adding them. You said I could add them to my resume as well. How do I get to add them? Do I add them as part time, as though as I was working somewhere? Let's say a period of 3 to 4 months, or maybe 3 to 6 months. Should I add something like that? How do I get to add it that I worked on a project on my
I
resume?
mean, yeah, you can just add you can create a section that you call project slash experience because that's not work experience. It's like projects. Do you get? Then you can also add the timeline for the project, like how long it took you to build in your duration. Do you get? So that way it still serves as a work experience. Do you get? Then you list what you did in the project and everything you achieved and accomplished while working on the project. Do you get? So that's how you add it. So maybe the name of the project would be the header where the company is supposed to be, and you add the duration it took you to build the project, where the contract of your work experience is supposed to be. Then all of the description will be added as bullet point and stuff like that. So you just create a new section, project stroke experience.
All right, thank you. That's perfect.
Yeah.
All right. Any more question? So I think can you drop your LinkedIn link so that we could get that resume?
Let me check it. Give me a minute.
All right. Okay. Any other question? Let's let's keep it moving. Or we all have gotten the full the full information of how this internship work. So just so you know, if you have maybe any more doubts or any questions, you can hit him up on LinkedIn and you can clarify some stuff for you.
Yeah, so I pasted the link.
All right, all right. So I guess we're good. Since we don't have any more questions, hope you guys enjoyed this session. I really enjoyed learning a lot from our boss here. So thank you, Tomiwa. Yeah, thank you for coming. For, yeah, I really appreciate. I think
Yeah, no worries. It was nice chatting with you guys.
all right. I think we'll draw the curtains here. So you guys should you know tell more people to come to join our group chat. You know, we're having meetings like this. You know, on Saturdays. You know, you get to learn a lot from all these type of meetings. So I'll see you guys in our next meeting. Thank you all for joining. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye bye.